critical race theory is basically teaching people to hate our country, hate each other. It's divisive, and it's basically an identity politics version of Marxism. So I don't think it has any place in the classroom, certainly shouldn't be funded by tax dollars. So as we're doing this bold civics initiative, which is important, I think people like that. But I think a lot of people look at it and say, well, okay, they better be teaching the right stuff. So we're going to have a depoliticized curriculum.
Somewhere, as I record this, DeSantis is saying the word woke. Anyway, so he's still talking about it utterly constantly. That's all he has. That's all he's ever had. And so right there, he's talking about how CRT is just teaching us to hate our country. That's not what it is. If only DeSantis had gone to school, learned a thing, he might know that, but he is in charge. And so woke is out, and his new fact-based approach to education is in. So he's now been in charge for a little while. Why don't we check in and see what it is that they're teaching Florida's kids? So he had appointed these conservative think tank board members to this university board, and they've started setting up these new programs and bringing in new professors who will be these Marxists with blue hair or whatever. And so what's the result of that? Well, white supremacy can now win you book awards, actually. And I'm not exaggerating, that is literally what is happening. So there's a student, Preston Damsky, who took a class last fall on originalism, the legal theory that the Constitution should be interpreted on its meaning when it was first adopted. So this class was taught by a judge who was appointed by Donald Trump, John Badalamenti. Damsky, the student, wrote a paper which argued we the people should only be applied to white people and non-white people shouldn't have voting rights, to which the Trump appointed judge gave him the book award for the paper. He is an award-winning author for that, for his whites only theory. So that's fun. The issue is that he didn't just write papers, he also wrote online. And so he ended up going online, writing some wildly anti-Semitic posts, which ended up with him being suspended and banned from the campus. So if only there had been a sign, if only the papers he had handed in had been some indication that this guy was going in a bad direction. Turns out, by the way, that award-winning paper wasn't even his first foray into this area. So he gained his reputation last fall when a paper he wrote for a different class was passed around among students and faculty, something that should never ever happen, even in the best of times. Nobody's passing papers around, but this one merited it because the paper was similar to the paper he wrote for Badalamenti's class, in which he again argued non-white people shouldn't have voting rights and should be given 10 years to move out of the country. So if you teach that, I don't know, blockbusting and redlining was government policy and was bad and discriminatory, that's teaching people to hate their country. Doesn't matter if it's a fact. Instead, if you teach that whites should be the only people with rights, you're fine. As long as you don't do it on social media, you just hand that in class, you get full credit, you even get awards for it. That's what schools are turning into under Ron DeSantis. Jayar, what do you think?
What Ron DeSantis wants to do is, of course, as you pointed out, ignore the results of people like Preston Damsky's points of view. The results of his white supremacist point of view, where mediocre white people are the only ones that should have any kind of rights, voting rights, and everyone else, by the way, should move the hell out of the country. So as we're seeing the results of the discriminatory policies, things are worse in the country. Because as we know, everything works together. People contribute different points to the society. And as this systematic racism has always been here, and as they're trying to have this resurgence of it to not actually have policies that eliminate it or kind of suppress it a bit, the whole purpose here is to bring it all back. And as we see this government, this regime, this Trump regime that's in charge, as we see the incompetence that drips from every one of them, it's disaster after disaster after disaster. And the only thing that comes from that, they say is positive, is this veneer, this showing, this veil that they're supposed to have that everything is great. Gas prices going up. But do you know the gas prices are $1.92 in parts of the country? It's just lies. Grocery prices going up. Did you know that grocery prices are amazing? Tariffs are still destroying and kicking everybody's ass. You know, the tariff policy is wonderful. The only thing they ever have from factual based things are lies to stretch it out long enough to, I guess, take everyone's money. as they're running through Los Angeles, trying to kick out all these folks that contribute to the entire the livelihood of the city and its thriving nature. The only thing that they're getting from this now is maybe the company shutting down that had something to do with maybe getting produce to stores and things like that, buildings being built. None of that stuff is gonna happen anymore because white supremacy. So as they try to eliminate the results of white supremacy, they're trying to implement a little bit more of it, and they'll fail too, because as we know, folks like Preston Damsky and Donald Trump and all these other a-holes, they depend on other folks. And as, of course, what people don't like to say, our founding fathers depended on other folks' labor, so their lazy asses could benefit from it. That's the American way. Yeah, he's going back to the American way. Things were changed and shifted. Parts of the Constitution were amended so that it wouldn't be the same way that they would like for it to be again. So the results are always disastrous, but they're too stupid to realize it because white supremacy, hate, and bigotry is the very most foremost thing on their mind. That's just how
it's
they
very
operate.
comfortable.
So go ahead and
bath
suck.
for these people.
Go ahead and go back to sucking because you got people like Pete Hegseth in charge.
Exactly. Yeah, no, the expectations keep dropping, but he has the right identity. There's nobody who plays identity politics as fully and just non-stoppingly as the right. It's all about that. In all of this, the attacks against CRT, a thing that no kids take classes in or whatever, certainly not in elementary schools. But now it's everything that they talk about with education is identity, but it's the right doing it. Yeah, I don't know when it happened that the right became so constantly and utterly terrified of the real world and of reality and their need to hide forever from the truth about what's happening right now, what's happened in the past. I say someday, as an experiment, we should go back to not running away from it, not hiding from it, and accepting the truth, because that's the only way that things can get better in the future. But unfortunately, we have weak men who are terrified of it.